Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and today is day 100 of my doing 100 days of videos and focusing on recognizing God's hand in my life. So, yay! I made it to day 100. I am so happy to make it to day 100. I feel bad because I've procrastinated this out forever, and it's taken me like a year to do these videos, which is lame. But I'm grateful I did them. I'm very grateful I did them because I feel like it's made me get closer to God, and it's helped me to see how much that God loves me and cares about me and wants the best for me. And it's also helped me to see that I worry and stress over little things that I don't need to worry and stress over because God is taking care of it. And it's helped me to see how God works in other people's lives and how God views other people, and not just from my little minuscule point of view. And it's kind of a reminder to me that I do have a distorted perspective and that I am very critical of myself and of other people, and that God is not that judgmental of myself and others. God is far more understanding and loving and caring and wanting everyone to be the best version of themselves that they can be, and to uplift and help people instead of, hurting and putting people down or judging and criticizing. And it's just amazing to recognize that, to see that transition in myself and to see in others. And not that I'm perfect by any means, and not that I've not still critical of myself. I am. I still try. I'm still very critical of myself. I still look around at all the things that I'm not doing and get overwhelmed and frustrated and annoyed with myself. And then, of course, I still think that I'm just going to root out all of my problems and solve everything overnight, which I also can't do. And God is kind enough to remind me that I can't do everything all in one day. But over time, I can slowly get things done. And over time, some of the things that I think are important aren't as important. And some of the things that I don't realize or don't think that much about become more important. And things just get done, and the things that don't maybe aren't as important, or maybe they are, which is why I keep holding on to them. And if I'd start doing them, I'd feel better. I don't know. So anyway, today I did go to the temple to do cleaning, and and a sweet sister was there. I didn't go last week because I wasn't feeling good, and then there's that sweet sister there, and she was just like, "I missed you last week. Where were you?" And I was like, "I'm so sorry." And it's just a reminder to me, because I keep thinking I should just give up my service mission and stop going. And then I'm like, I've made this commitment, and I have that wishy-washy thing, and then I go, and then I'm like, oh, we need you, and we're so happy you're here, and we missed you. And it's like, okay, I need to keep my service mission. And it seems to be an ongoing battle every week with me. And I think it's mostly just because I'm tired, because it's one more thing that I have to do, and I just don't feel like I have the energy. But every time I go, God gives me the energy to go, and I feel wide awake. And of course, last night there were so many things that were just all messed up, and I was like, what the heck happened? And I know it was just from that day. It's not like it's been all messed up for a whole week because I didn't go last week. But there were just things out of place, things that didn't belong where they were at, things that just weren't working like they were supposed to. And so I had to go find people and leave my little volunteers. And so I got to do a lot of walking around and exercise. And I'm like, I need the exercise. This is good for me. So I am grateful that I got to do that. And I'm also grateful for God and reminding me of things in my head. I didn't say things out loud at work yesterday. I had some triggers and some things that were hard for me to deal with, and but I had little reminders pop into my head about other things that I knew of and that I cared about. And one of them was like one of the patients that came in. I don't know if it was a hygiene issue or if it was just like a cologne deodorant issue. I don't know, but just really bad smell triggered some really not nice things for me. And I'm trying really hard not to make faces, and I'm trying really hard to help this person. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, the smell is just pungent. And I was like, I can't do this. And then I remembered this story. I think it's called A Town Called Charity. It's a book called A Town Called Charity. It's a short story by something Jorgensen, I think. Can't remember. Anyway, don't quote me on that one because I don't remember. I want to say it's like Blaine M. Jorgensen or Blair something. I don't know. Anyway, like I said, don't quote me on that one. but I have that book somewhere where I had it once upon a time. Anyway, the story is basically about a town called Charity, and the people really aren't full of charity at the beginning of the book, but they pride themselves on, like, they act like they are. And then this man comes to town, and he's like a homeless bum, and he smells terrible, and he's dirty from head to toe and everything else like that. And at first the people like are trying to turn him away, but then they're like, it's a town called Charity, and so they decide to, someone lets him in. And then eventually he goes through every house in the town, and the book says like each house he seems to be dirtier and smellier and whatever else. But once he gets inside the house, and once he starts eating and bathing and whatever, the people forget the smell. They don't remember the smell. They just remember the feeling, and they're just grateful that they were able to help this person, and this person gave them a really good feeling. And I think that was God just telling me that even though I didn't like the smell of this person, that he's still a child of God, and that God still loves him, and that this person still has value regardless of how he smelled. And I was just grateful for that little reminder. And I was trying to think of that book, and I was trying to think, okay, I need to be polite to this person. Even if I don't like the way that he smells, it doesn't make him a bad person. I don't know if he just can't smell himself. I don't know if he just struggles because he's just really old and he can't take better care of himself. I don't know what the situation is. I don't know if he's aware that that's an issue. I don't know, but he was there, and I hope that he got the help that he needed and was treated nicely by everybody else. I mean, I'm sure he was. Everybody in that office is so nice. And I did think about some not nice things in my head, or I did think about saying something to my coworkers about the smell, and I didn't. I chose not to, because I thought, well, maybe he would hear me and that would be really bad, and I don't want to insult this person. I don't want to make him feel bad. That's not what I'm here to do, and that's not what God would want me to do. And so even though it was still really hard for me to get past the smell, I was able to be aware that this is someone that God loves and cares about too, not just me. And that I didn't need to feel, I didn't need to be rude to this person because of how he smelled. And I didn't need to be making fun of him by sharing that with my coworkers or anything else like that. And I didn't. And I'm proud of myself that I didn't. But I have to say that was hard for me because, like I said, I'm judgmental and critical, and I'm just learning that God really is not. And I am grateful to that and for that. And I don't want to be as judgmental and critical as of myself or as others. And I don't want those to be the first thoughts that pop into my head, like, oh, I don't like the smell, I don't like the way they look, or I don't like the way they sound, or something, And I know those are things that I grew up with. Those are things that I constantly heard. I mean, my biological mom would watch the Miss America pageant, and she would act like she was one of the judges and criticizing and talking about all these people. And, the funny thing is I loved my biological mom, but she was, she was super overweight. And I mean, she was pretty. She had a really pretty face. She was a beautiful woman, but she was overweight, out of shape, all of those things. And she's sitting and judging like Miss America pageants, and they're like these skinny, beautiful, whatever women, but she had a criticism for every single one of them. And her sister, my aunt, I went to a church thing and my cousin was singing, and he sang beautifully, and the audience was crying, and he maybe cracked a note because he got emotional while he was singing. And then he sits down and he's like, I missed a note. And my aunt's like, yeah, I noticed. And I'm like, he's your son. You should be telling him he did a great job, but it doesn't matter that he missed a note. Like, nobody else heard it except for him, and he shouldn't worry about it. But instead it's like, oh yeah, I noticed. We're just going to pick out the one little mistake you made, even though it was beautiful. Everybody loved it. And then it's not going to matter how many other people told him that it was amazing and wonderful, myself included, because all he's going to be thinking about is that one note that he missed. And I know, because that's how my life was, always pointed out the one mistake you make and the bad thing that happened to you. And nobody sees the good. And not that nobody sees the good, but my family wasn't that way, and even when I lived with my grandma, she was hilarious and she was funny, and she would watch TV shows, or she would see people in public and she was like, that person needs to get dressed, or that person's not got enough clothes on, or, needs to put clothes on or something. There was always that little, comment, one place or another, like they're just, and it's putting our values onto someone else, whether if they don't have those values, you know. And yes, I believe in dressing modestly and not showing off like my body parts and things like that, arms and legs and heads and faces. But you know, middle part I don't show off at all. Thighs, nobody needs to see those. But unless I'm swimming, and then I'll wear a swimsuit and I will go swimming, and I have no problem with that. But I don't need to go around judging how other people are choosing to dress, but it pops into my head because it was always there. And here I am at work in this situation, and there's someone that just smells, and he doesn't look nasty. He doesn't look terrible. Maybe his hands were a little bit darker. I don't know if it was because he was just darker or because he was dirty. I don't know. But instead of, you know, and I'm thinking nasty smell, and I'm trying not to make faces, and then God just reminds me that he loves everybody, and that it's like a town called Charity, and the smell doesn't matter. The smell goes away when you care about the person and treat them like a human being instead of like something that's disgusting and you shouldn't be around or should shun. And so I am grateful for the lesson and the reminder, and I hope that I can do better at that in the future, because like I said, I'm not very good at it. But I am aware that God is trying to teach me and to help me to be better and to see myself in a better light, the way that he sees me, and to see others that way. And I think just doing these 100 days of recognizing God's hand in my life has shown me so much about how much he loves me, and towards the end has shown me how much he loves other people and cares about them too, and that it's not just about me, it's about everyone else. And it's not just about how I treat myself, but how I treat other people and how I see other people. And so I know it's still a process to change the thoughts in my head and to completely internalize all of these things that I've been learning, but I'm just grateful for the opportunity and for the opportunity to share them with all of you. So thank you very much for watching my videos. And if you like these videos, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else if you think they'll like it too. And if you've had any experiences you want to share, please put them down in the comments below. And I hope you have a great day full of gratitude and find ways to recognize God's hand in your life too.